Hello, everyone. I call the Select Board meeting to order today, Tuesday, May 16th at 7:04 p.m. A motion to open the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Roll call, Mr. Jeter.
Here.
Mr. McCrisky.
Here.
Vice Chair Cavey.
Here.
Mr. Carrara.
Here.
And I'm here as well. I ask everyone to stand if you're able to salute our flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In accordance with Governor Baker's declaration of June 16, 2021, granting certain pandemic-related authorizations related to public, board, and town meetings, and recently extended until March 31, 2025, this meeting will be conducted both in person and virtually via Google Meets. The meeting will be recorded by SMAC Cable Television and broadcast live, and may be live streamed at www.stoughtontv.org. A recording of the meeting, transcript, or other comprehensive record of the proceedings will be posted on the town's website and or SMAC as soon as possible after the meeting if live broadcast or live streaming is unsuccessful. Times are approximate and items may be taken out of the order at the chairperson's discretion. With that said, I would like to take item number 11 out of order, and that title is SMAC Corrective Action Plan. Recently, we received information that answered our question regarding activity and the action plan. I would like to personally work collaboratively with SMAC, but that's my personal opinion. I would like to defer to Mr. McCrisky, who was voted or agreed by the board to be the liaison to the discussions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Don't usually do this often of reading a prepared statement, but as you know, I put a lot of time and effort into bringing some information to the board regarding some of the concerns that I had, on some of the issues. A lot has taken place, a lot of conversations, and a lot of, I'd say, some goodwill that I've heard going on. So I want to read this comment. On March 28, 2023, the Stoughton Select Board wrote to Stoughton Media Access Corporation with a review and evaluation of the relationship between the town of Stoughton and SMAC. At the Select Board meeting of March 28th, the board agreed to grant SMAC 45 days to respond to the evaluation. On May 9th, 2023, the board received the SMAC response from Attorney Joseph Zoppo. On behalf of the Stoughton Select Board, I would like to express my appreciation to SMAC for its timely response to our March 28th letter. Throughout the process between March 28th and May 9th, SMAC has communicated its desire to strengthen its relationship with the town, negotiate a new access agreement, and to work together for the years to come. So on the behalf of the Select Board, I can't speak for everybody, but I say for the Board of Selectmen, I'm happy to say that I share the Select Board's willingness to work together for the good of the town. Accordingly, I request that the Select Board take a vote this evening which authorizes our town manager, town council, and a member of the board to work diligently with SMAC designees in an effort to reach an agreement on a new access agreement. Madam Chair, on a personal level, I want to thank SMAC and the board for its renewed commitment to the town. I have received quite a few phone calls personally about this process. And as I've said, when I talked about this at the first time, when I was accused by two people of playing politics, I said then and I say now that all I've wanted SMAC to do was meet its obligation to the ratepayers and make cable TV in Stoughton something that we can all be proud of. Again, this is factual. Anybody that has been following cable TV coverage in the past couple of months, it has increased. There are shows that weren't being hosted in the past that were put back on. So I don't know what it is that happened over there. I know there was an election. Congratulations to Mr. Laurie, Mr. Brown, that are not here, that were just recently elected to the Board of Directors. Mr. Mullen is here, a member of the Board of Directors, and I hope that we're going to use the recent successes at SMAC to get that new programming back out, some of the older stuff coming back out, to keep this thing moving forward. That was never my intent, although some people believed it was. I want cable TV to work for the best of the ratepayers and serve the town of Stoughton the best way it can. So I look forward to any conversations, Madam Chair. I would hope that the town manager, and it would be either yourself or Mr. Cavey, and I think only if I had to as a last resort, if nobody else could do it, I'd be more than glad to sit and talk with people because, again, I can disagree with people, but I want what's right for the people of this town. So thank you to SMAC, the Board of Director members that are here. I look forward to working with our board and SMAC to see what we can do to move on and build for the future and then, see how that works. So I guess really the future of it is in both of our hands. So with that as well, I would be remiss if I didn't thank the town manager for his work, and at times he can be a better negotiator than I can be, but thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCrisky. I heard a motion in there, but I need a second before I pass it on to my fellow.
Second.
Okay, thank you. For discussion, I saw Mr. Carrera had his hand up, and then we'll just go around and make sure everyone's comment, especially town managers, because you were included in the motion. Okay.
It is a comment, but it's a serious comment. Our lawyer gave us a pretty intense list of failures, because that's what it said. There was also a report that Joe brought forth that came from Mr. Houseman about stuff like that. Are we going to hear that just because things changed, a couple of people changed, that miraculously this is all back and fixed and we're not going to vet this stuff?
Madam Chair, if I can respond?
Yes, Mr. McCrisky, and then I'm sure town manager would like to respond as well.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, Scott. There's things that need to be addressed. And as you know, what I do in my work is I work with people that are, had bad things happen to them. They get federal enforcement actions, but then they're given the opportunity to file a corrective action plan to get back in. And I think that is the basis of the conversations. That's only my opinion, is that's the basis of the conversations as we move forward. It's not productive at all to take something and beat somebody over the head with it if that person's willing to read it and engage in a discussion and agree to try to work and be better. That's what I'm hoping we get through this process.
I followed your lead, because of the work that you did when you put it out in front of us, and I stood up and wanted this to be all straightened out. Mm-hmm. The new board, are they going to put before us how they're going to fix it? Or are we just going to look at a letter from a lawyer, which anybody can bang off on a computer? No. This one here, which I want to move forward, but I want to hear what they're going to make better in the place, and if they're all together. I don't want two guys on this side and three people over here and somebody turning their head. I want to know that this thing is, that the people that got on have ideas that might be listened to, not just, oh, yeah, things changed, give me my license and let's slide off into the sunset.
Scott,
I'm the black and white guy. Right. It was here. I want it fixed. I want to know that they're working on it. I want to know what they're going to give. I don't want I trust you to work on it, and I would make that motion to make you the one, because you've been steering it, and you know what we want. So
right.
but I want to know that they're on the right page. I just don't want to be like, yay, we changed, but nothing's going to change.
Okay. Here's my response to that, and you know, and I thank you for having that trust in me. But when we started this 10 years ago, okay, there was only one person, Mr. Mullen was in that original group. We went and gave an access agreement. Bylaws that they had were based on the corrective action plan that we see now. So if we negotiate, and I want to look, I know Mr. Mullen, Mr. Banis, Ms. Harbeck, Mr. Laurie, Peter Ventresco's back there, Ed DeFelice, all those folks there that we see, we know personally from being involved in this town, and they're active within SMAC, one way or another. If we can't talk to those people and build a future plan addressing the things that are in that corrective action plan that we discussed, that is the template. If we can't discuss this and get to a good place with those people, all of us don't belong here, them included. That's what this has got to be about. We serve the residents of this town. We give them that, and I know we can get something resolved. I hope it doesn't go a different way, because that's why I think we need to try that first. Everything, because I was very instrumental in getting all that information together, I wanted addressed too. You know, I wanted addressed too. I've heard good things coming from people that I know at SMAC. I want SMAC to change too. And I give you my word, you know, that's all I want as well. You know, and I want to see us get together. And, you know, we have 2 appointments on that board still. And, you know, it may be that we include something. I don't know. There's things we can include. But I think we're going to do better where there is a change in that board, for the most part, to give it a shot. And if it goes nowhere, it won't be that, you know, both people didn't try honestly, because I know that we can get something better. I'm not throwing this thing out the window. I did a lot of work on that thing, you know, and there are definitely issues that need to be addressed. I would just like to see, because of some of the comments that have come out, to see if we can work with SMAC to build a better, if we were to choose, because we still, right now, the contract exists, but it's not in full force. We can very easily go a different direction if we want. I just want to try, because we're supposed to be the people that come here and discuss and try to do good things for the residents of the town. And I want to try that road first, because if we have to go the other way, at least we can say, we took the positive step forward to work. We wanted to work together, but we can't get to that point. So I would rather it be, because of my position with the issue, I would rather it first be the chair or the vice chair. If they can't do it, you know, because of their workload, if they chose, or anybody else chose they want to be involved, I don't have a problem with that. I just want to try to do something positive and get to the same goal.
I just want that if the new people come on and they have ideas they're going to bring forth, that the closed minds that didn't get their way aren't going to shut them down and stalemate it.
Well, if that, it won't, it shouldn't. If we do our job right, it shouldn't be that way. You know, I don't want this to be, one of those, rock'em sock'em robots games. You know, it's the people of the town don't benefit that way. There's going to be people probably sitting in the audience that'll be a little pissed at me right now. But I want the same thing they want. I just want to try it a different way. I want to give everybody the opportunity to be heard, see if we can work together. If we can't, the final decision is on this board. The final decision's on this board. That's all there is to it.
So I know you have more to say about this, and we'll come back around, do another round robin, but I wanted to hear what Mr. Coulter has to say. He's in the motion to be one of the liaisons to make this action plan a reality, and for both sides to make it agreeable so we can move forward.
Madam Chair, let me try to recover whatever goodwill is left after all this debate. We're talking about volunteers in the town of Stoughton, at the board level and at the SMAC level. All friends, all citizens, all neighbors. Both sides spent at least $10,000 to take their salvos at each other. That's embarrassing to the community. I'm the town manager. I'm charged with running operations. I came up with a plan, and perhaps I was remiss at not briefing every board member on the plan. The plan is for me to do my job with the help of one member of the Board of Selectmen and council, with our neighbors from SMAC and their council, to sit down and address every issue that was in our attorney's letter, which raised concerns about the relationship, and to very positively, favorably, civilly work out a new access agreement. That access agreement will be brought before this board for affirmation and signature, and before the SMAC board for affirmation and signature. Well, part of that is going to be an advisory board that works to be liaison and conduits between this board and the board of directors from SMAC. I am not 50% certain, I'm 100% certain we will work out a comprehensive agreement that works for both parties. I'm 100% certain the relationship will be monitored and issues will be discussed as friends and neighbors and citizens of Stoughton. And we will have a great relationship. I perhaps sound a little too emboldened in this statement, but that's my job. And I'm grateful to the board for allowing me to play point in doing this job. There's no reason to continue any type of negativity when both sides are really interested in having a great relationship. So I'm looking forward to it. I'd like to set a 30-day limit on bringing a draft access agreement back to the board to vote, and to allow the directors or the negotiators on the SMAC side to bring that agreement back to their members for a vote. And let's all walk out of this room singing Kumbaya together and move on to the next major problem facing the town.
So would you like a friendly amendment to the original motion
Of
to
course.
include the 30-day
Yes, please.
limit? Okay.
Thank you.
So, Gilda, can you repeat the motion again, and then we'll include that language?
The motion is for the Select Board to take vote to authorize our town manager, town council, and a member of the board to work diligently with the SMAC designees in an effort to reach an agreement or a new access agreement. Within 30 days, the town manager will present a draft agreement, access agreement.
Excellent, that's my understanding as well.
So just
Now, I
point of-
also want...
Point of order. Mr. McCrisky made the motion, so we'll have to make sure that you're...
I'm good.
You're good with that?
Yeah, I'm good.
I seconded it, I'm good with it as well. Just want to make sure we're get that squared away.
Thank you, thank you. Vice Chair Cavey, and then Mr. Gito, did you want to have a comment in this regards, or are we ready to move on to our next agenda item?
So we still have to vote this?
Yes.
Right? Okay. I'll just make a quick comment and just say that I think we're heading in the right direction. I think this offers us a very healthy opportunity to all win, to all get the things done that we want to do. I think we're much stronger working together. And I'm grateful that the SMAC board seems to be in a similar place as we are, where we're looking to move forward and succeed as a town. And I appreciate their cooperation in that.
Thank you, Vice Chair Cavey. How about you, Mr. Gito?
I don't see why we can't move ahead and be successful in this. And
Excellent.
I've thought that all along, by the way.
Thank you, Mr. Gito. Mr. McCrisky, did you?
Yeah,
okay.
Madam Chair, just in this conversation, I've tended to say that, I would sit in the back, but if yourself or the vice chair, didn't want to do it, I would step in and work beside the town manager and SMAC, if that's what your choice is, okay? I just thought I would say that for the record.
I would be happy, and it would be my pleasure to be on this advisory committee, but if Vice Chair Cavey wanted to do it, I don't want, because by de facto, I'm part of the committee anyway. So
Yeah,
if you-
no, I have
So if
complete
you would like
faith
to
in you, and if for some reason your schedule if you weren't available or something, feel free to assign me to it. I would be happy to help. I would enjoy working with the group, but at the same time, I have complete faith in you and in your leadership on this. So feel free to step in as long as you want to.
Thank you very much. Yes, so that's how it'll work. We'll work together and move this right along. Okay, so on the motion, Mr. Gito. So we're going to take a vote on the motion on the table.
Yes.
Mr. McCrisky,
Yes.
Vice Chair Cavey,
Yes.
and Mr. Carrara.
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Thank you, everyone. And moving right along, going back to our agenda for the day, and it's item number 2, Select Board comments. Do any of our Select Board members have comments? Seeing none?
Sorry, I just have
Oh,
one
I'm
quick,
sorry.
very, very quick. I'll make this so very brief. On Friday evening, I was able to attend the 60th anniversary of the Helen H. Hansen Elementary School gala. My wife's on the PTO. I volunteered as the DJ, as I often do with the elementary schools. Whenever they need a DJ, I try to make sure I could help them out. It was a lot of fun. It was great running into previous principals of the school. Some previous superintendents were there as well. And many of the faces we're all familiar with in town government and in the schools. Were there, and I just wanted to let people know that it was a wonderful event. Sorry you all missed it, but at the same time, I just would like to point out the useful life of our schools is 50 years. Usually, that's the number we're given, and so we're celebrating the 60th anniversary of the school. There is currently no plan to replace that building in the works. We have, both on the school side but also on the municipal side, very old buildings that are past their useful life. And we can keep on using them, but I would recommend that we perhaps come up with some plan for replacing them or start working towards that. It's nice to celebrate a 60th birthday for a building, but I think it sounds like we probably shouldn't be using that building anymore. So that was it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anything else? Yes.
Go ahead.
Madam
Mr.
Chair, I
McChrystal.
just wanted to recognize the passing of a couple of our residents recently. And I do know James Peter Lovett, 51, Stoughton, died on May 9th. He is the wife of Chrissy Tolman of Stoughton, and her husband had been in failing health for a couple of years and passed. So I would like to offer my condolences to the family of James Lovett and the Tolman family, Chrissy Tolman, for their great loss. Also, Bob Murphy. People may remember Bob Murphy, the owner of Mermex, longtime staple in our town. Bob died at the age of 80 on this past Saturday, and on the 13th, on Saturday 13th at Cape Cod Hospital. And, the whole family related to McNamara Murphys and Dick Murphy, who passed several years ago. The family was very active, and for those who don't know the history, note that Mermex actually started at the corner of Drake Avenue and Canton Street before it went up to Park Street. And that building that was sat there was moved up. So to the family of Bob Murphy, we again send our condolences to the family. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing that news. That was something I hadn't heard yet, so thank you so very much. So very sad. Mr. Gito.
I'd just like to recognize Caitlin Valaire, the 8th grade social studies teacher at the middle school, who is teaching civics to her group. And we have so far received 9, count them, 9 requests for different projects from that school. One is to support homeless in Stoughton. Belmore Jacks is the person sort of heading that group. I won't read all of the names of the students, but the heads at least. There are 3 projects that deal with either beautification of Stoughton or cleaning up Stoughton. One of the managers in that group is Jacqueline Malley, another Elizabeth Nim, and the third is Jasmine Petit Frere. There are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, I think 4 street safety projects, a couple of street safety projects, a pedestrian street safety project, a bike lanes project, and they are managed by Nora McGuire, Aliana Ruiz Moscot, and Lindsay De Silva. Let's see, did I miss any? No. And one for a teen youth center by Ernsia Valur. So those are the things that we have received this past week. I would like to be able to talk with the teacher and see whether or not there's anything that we can do to help in that effort. They're interested in making sure that we're interested in their projects. I have a little bit of time. I could do some stuff with that, if that's okay.
I think that is great. And please count me in too. If they wanted us to come and talk to them and just anything, share our experiences, I think that is so great for them to learn at such a young age about governance. So yeah, I think that's a great idea. Are there any other select board comments? Okay. How about town manager comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My comments are follow-ups from last Selectmen's meeting on issues that remained open. As you all recall, we had some technical difficulties with our recording last week, with sound and then with visuals. And I want you to know that the general manager from SMAC has followed up with a note and her commitment to get things fixed. I'll read her note. Dear Town Manager, I talked to my staff this morning and they told me that there were issues with the AV equipment during last night's select board meeting. Luke is coming to the town now to test and evaluate. In the past, we had issues with Verizon equipment, which is 16 years old. Verizon is very responsive and issues are fixed quickly, but they keep coming back, unfortunately. The equipment is very old. I had enough money to replace the switcher at Town Hall last year. I will know more by tomorrow, and then I will let you know. I have plans to replace it, but I have very old AV equipment at all locations. Sorry for the inconvenience. We will get back to you and address all of these issues in a timely fashion. So that was on last week's meeting. The second item, Scott had made a recommendation that the Board of Health form be modified to include the 2 most recent dates of the grease traps cleaning and the recent history in the last year of the pumping of the septic tank. So that form has been modified, so from now on, licenses for restaurants, we'll have that in there, Scott. Third thing that we brought up last week that people had a lot of interest in were the double telephone poles in the town. So I did speak to my contact at Verizon. We have 84 sites where there are 2 listed poles, a new one and an old one. The way those things get resolved is National Grid puts them in, Verizon takes them out. We have to partner with them, and there is a website that we were able to get on, sign in, and get passwords for. You start at the very top, National Grid changes over the power to the new pole. Next is the town, where we have to remove the street lights and the low-voltage cables, and the next is the fire alarms. Once that's done, Verizon has to remove the poles within 30 days or be fined for every day that they're not removed. We have 84 sites, 84 poles in the town that are duplicate. 40 have streetlights on them, 31 have fire alarms. Deputy Chief Maycomer has taken the lead on this project, working with Verizon to do our part first, and then the poles will begin to be removed. That's all there is on that issue, so you'll see action on that right away. The last item, I think it was Mr. McCristy was, or it may have been Scott, looking for the floor plan for Jersey Mike's for their application. I want to assure the board that they have submitted them, and so those are in the file right now, the floor plan for. Yeah, it was Lou and Scott, thank you. So that file is now complete, and the floor plan is in it. That's all I have to report.
Thank you very much. And moving right along to citizens' comments. Are there any citizens' comments? Yes, Mr. DeFelice, please step forward, state your name and your address.
I'll go through it with you.
And then Mr. Ventresco, please, oh, you double teaming? Oh, he's going to be next, okay. Mr. DeFelice, hello, how are you? Good. Oh, yeah. Mr. Ventresco, if you're going to share the mic, well, please. And then you can say your name and address, and then we'll just keep it moving. Turn on the mics.
Okay. I didn't catch on. What did you want, name and address?
That's your name and address.
Yeah. Ed DeFelice, 200 Ethel Way, Stoughton, Mass. I just want to let the board know, I feel left out of the conversation you had previously. It seems that the people are really aggrieved. We didn't get a chance to say anything. We weren't included in any of the discussion. I mean, we took, and we were bullied up there, and we had a real hard time getting this thing done. And it doesn't look like anybody up there seems to care about that.
Oh, come on, here we go.
We have never got an apology for what was done to us.
Madam Chair, I'm not sure I know what
Nothing.
the issue is. What are we referring to?
I'm
I'm sorry.
unsure what we're referring to. I believe they're talking about SMAC, but I don't
Yes,
know.
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Is it the SMAC contract, or is it the, something
No,
else
it
about
was
SMAC?
just-
We were treated.
Well, the way,
Oh, I was treated.
because in the discussion, I see, both sides, and, with the lawyers. But the aggrieved people were the members. We were bullied up there. We were treated like crap. We had to go to 3 meetings, and they had a police detail at these meetings to make us, I guess, to intimidate us. I don't know what. So I know Joe has, good intentions. But I think, as Mr. Carrara said, I think some of these things should be addressed. And I think there should be some way of doing the things that you guys want to do, but not saying, we hope they'll get done down the road. This stuff has to be addressed now, because, I don't think any of you would have enjoyed going to those 3 meetings to be escorted out by a police woman that was on detail at the request of these board members. That's atrocious to treat other, you were talking about citizens of the town. There's no way we should have been treated like that. And we just gloss over it like it didn't happen. And that's very disheartening. I understand at some point we have to get this together and work together. That goes without saying. But, it's like, there's like no justice to us. So we took a beating up there. I wish you people could have been there with us, and you would have been very, very upset. How many meetings have you gone to, selectmen or whatever, in this town, where you had a police detail?
Can I ask you this, Mr. DeFelice?
Yes.
We're not the board of that organization, but what did you expect us to do? We have a plan
Yeah.
in action, but I really want to hear what
Well, what I
you wanted
expected
us to do
was
about it.
to do the things you talked about. They sound fine. But I expected that we would, at a minimum, get an apology from this past board for what we had to go through. And, you know, I just felt that it was being glossed over here tonight. And we were, if you want to say, we were the victims of this crap. And I think that if you have a set of things that you want them to do to remedy the situation, that's fine. But I think there should be a list of items that have to be done in a time certain, because this is just going to be, you know, yada yada, and I think, as Mr. Carraro said, everything's going to be forgotten. And I don't think, I just feel so bad about how we were treated. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. To be escorted out of the building at their request by the police lady that was there that night was so far out of line. I can't believe it happened.
Mr. DeFelice, I'm so sorry that it happened to you. I wasn't there, but I am so sorry that it happened to you. But I do want to give Mr. McCrisky an opportunity to respond to you. And then I also, before Mr. McCrisky speaks on the issue, Mr. Ventresco, please state your name and your address.
Peter Ventresco, 587 Canton Street.
And is your comment similar?
Well, it's going to be on the same track, some of it, but a little different. Okay, I want to thank Joe McCrisky for spearheading this thing, but I am completely unhappy with the results. And I want to thank Mr. Carraro over there for having the only broad shoulders in this whole board, for speaking up. Now, that being said, it was true. We felt like the gangsters or something. We had to have cops there to guide us out. Here I am, 89 years old, and we need cops for people like me, because we're going to start a big hullabaloo. No, it's crazy. They belittled us. They insulted us. In the letter, here you got a Hosman report that said that the SMAC paid for, and he said they were in disarray. Something had to be done. Okay, now, we took an election back in, we had an election back in November. Here it is, 6 months later before they decided to open it, because they didn't want to open it because they knew the votes were going to be close and somebody was going to have to leave, and that somebody finally got the hint and he resigned. That being said, in corporations, when you replace, you vote in a new CEO, you just don't vote the CEO in, you vote a whole new board of directors behind them. You don't leave the old guy there because it creates too many problems. That's the same thing that should have been here. That whole board should be disbanded. Now, if you buy go take a little vegetable side, apple, fruit side, if you buy a bushel apple and you got 12 rotten apples in a bushel, what do? You don't take 5 out and leave 7 there because it's going to rot the rest of them. It's the same thing here. We're going to have 2 fresh members here with different ideas that want to do things by the rules, which this present board that was there never did. The first night we went there back in November to decide how we were going for the election, how it was going to be run, they had no idea because they never ran an election. They had to put up the screen, get the computer up there, and go paragraph by paragraph for 2 hours, how we're going to do this. And then when they did it, they did the unthinkable. They wouldn't open up the ballots. So I'm asking you people to get rid of the other 3 or get rid of 2 and leave 1, because it's not going to work out. And another example, right here at this table, back 20 years, we had a big political hullabaloo with a certain department in the town, and 2 and 3, and there was always bitter arguments with the Board of Selectmen. They couldn't agree on anything either. So you're setting the same thing up for this SMAC board. So I'm asking you to do the right thing, and I wouldn't mind, but I've talked to everybody before about this for months, that something has to be done, and there's something that you decide to do tonight. is not correct. You have to make a change there. That's all I got to say.
Thank you for your ideas and sharing your thoughts. Mr. McCrisky?
Thank you. I'm just going to make this personal again. Peter, you know I respect you. I've talked with you many times. Eddie, I've talked with you many times. Sometimes I don't know how much you listen to me, but I do talk with you. There's going to be change. There has to be change. Now, everything that you said, you're spot on, and I agree with. I know that that exists. But people that are watching this have to know, as you know, SMAC is its own nonprofit organization.
That's right, I know that. We all
Only
know
thing that we can do is decide whether we want to give them a new contract or not.
I disagree.
Okay? Well, no, that's the only thing we can do. We have no power of this board on a nonprofit. Yes, we have appointments to that board. One of those appointments that sits there now is made by the schools, as you're aware. So we have no authority. We have 2 appointments on that board at
You
this
can-
time.
and you can rescind it.
Everything is on the table. That's why we want to talk.
Well, I didn't
If it
hear you
can't-
say you were going to, that didn't come up on the
I
talk.
didn't say, nobody said we're pulling people off. Everything is on the table for a discussion. If the discussion is not fruitful, then we'll decide what happens from there. Everything is on the table. And this, I think, is the prudent way to go. I have, like I said, I put a lot of work into that information. I know how I feel about it. I wouldn't have put it together and went through 5 years of minutes and documented everything in those minutes. I wouldn't have gone through every document that was submitted to the town and what wasn't being done based on the minutes, based on the information that I received from SMAC. I want change as much as you do. If it can't be accomplished with a conversation, I hope it can be, but you will notice change as a result of that conversation, or I'm not voting for it.
I disagree, because it's...
Well, okay, we can agree to disagree,
split-
but
it's gonna be a split board.
everything has to start with a conversation and
the
see
other
if it
thing
can work
is,
first.
they spent thousands of dollars for legal fees, and when they know right from day one they didn't have a case. The town, I don't know how many thousands of dollars you spent on legal fees, the same thing. And this is the solution? It's nothing.
Well,
We got 2 new members in, had nothing to do with SMAC or this board. We got them in.
Yeah, I got them there too.
New
I'm a
members.
member and I voted as well.
All right, but I'm
Okay,
saying,
so,
so
like I said, let's-
actually, you could say we did the work that this board should have done.
Oh, that's not true.
Well,
That's
I don't
not
care.
true.
I mean, that's the way I look at it. We spent money to do this, and but the
Well, we
last
spent
thing I'll
money on-
say, the last thing I'll
Peter, we
say...
spent money on legal fees as well to get the information we have, okay?
Yeah, that's what I'm
So,
saying.
again,
Everybody spent money, and this is the results, nothing.
Yeah,
All right, but this board...
Excuse me for 1 minute. Let's
this
not
isn't gonna go anywhere. I'm comfortable
cross-debate.
where I am.
Yeah, all right, I'm not letting him
I
have a
would
turn.
like,
I'm sorry.
I would like to defer to Mr. Coulter, because I'm from the mindset, if we're going in openly and assessing and we are trying to work with SMAC, then we go in with no preconceived ideas of how it should pan out. Without any ideas, we're going to get rid of a board member or get rid of staff, because that's coming to the table with preconceived notions. Things have changed since a couple of months ago, so we don't know all about those changes until we get there and we're at the table and we're talking. So maybe the board would allow, I'm referring to the SMAC board, would allow you to be a part of the discussion, since you are such a leader in the community and you're such a leader with the ideas of
You talking to
SMAC.
me? Or somebody else?
But anyway, Mr. Coulter.
Madam Chair, I think everybody acknowledges what happened at SMAC was a stain on our community. Everybody regrets what happened there. And that you were treated that way is undemocratic, and it was wrong. I want to explain to you, gentlemen, what has been explained to me by town council. The standing that we have, the legal standing that we have, the power that we have, is to not renew the agreement. That's where our power begins, and it's where it ends. The appointments the people who receive appointments have legal rights. And we don't have standing to pursue those rights. The SMAC shareholders or stakeholders have those rights, not us. And that's what the chair lady was referring to, and she says, what is it you would like us to do? We're, in a sense, the customer.
Yes.
We don't like what happened there, but we know that our authority ends at the ocean edge. You know, we can't go into the ocean. That's the board of SMAC, and we need to respect that, or we'll have other legal problems of our own. But as you pointed out, Peter, our standing, our rights, our power comes from our ability to either renew or not renew, and if we don't renew, we have to do it on our own. So as we go to the negotiating table, in good faith, as the chair pointed out, as we go to the negotiating table, we know we carry that standing. We carry that power. So in order for this to never happen again, we intend to negotiate into the new cable access agreement a set of rules that we want our vendor, in a sense, to comply with, which are consistent with our code of conduct, or else we don't want to be involved. We'll do it on our own. Accordingly, the chair referred to an advisory committee. We'll have a 3-person advisory committee to SMAC where we watch over things to make sure that people are treated properly, and I'm sure they're going to be from this point forward. And a termination clause, a very quick termination clause, that if such actions or behavior occur in the future, the actions and the behavior that were raised in our attorney's alleged violations, then we can terminate the clause with a very quick 60-day notice of termination. And that would give us plenty of time to organize to do it on our own. So, you know, the old late, great Ronald Reagan once said, trust but verify.
Yeah.
We have great trust that this will be all right with this new agreement. But we're going to verify to make sure that all of the citizens who are involved as volunteers are treated properly. We can't change history. We can impact the future. What happened to you, the both of you, was wrong.
Not just me and him, the whole,
I understand.
30 of us.
Was wrong and regrettable, and again, it was a stain on this community. People outside of this community continue to talk about what happened that night or that day. That won't happen again. If it did, we're going to terminate the contract, and we'll do it on our own. That's been the charge the board has given me. Those are the conditions I'm going to work into the contract. If the other side doesn't want to give us those terms, the 60-day terms and the standards we demand and accept, then we will not renew the contract. We'll simply do it on our own.
Well, we don't want the SMAC blown up. We want to
We
keep
don't-
SMAC,
we
but
don't
we
either.
just want a new board of directors.
Now, that's something only they can control, Peter.
No, because the Board of Selectmen,
We have 2 seats.
yeah, 2 seats, and you reappointed them last year sometimes, and you can rescind them. And this is a perfect, for the way they ran their board, this is a perfect time to rescind them, because they never did anything by the rules, by the law.
I know rescinding sounds easy. Let me give you the advice counsel gave me the other day on rescission on a separate matter, and you know what I'm referring to. Anyone who is appointed a volunteer has got very real, actionable legal rights. You can't expect the town of Stoughton or the Board of Selectmen to rescind rights when the very body, meaning SMAC Board of Directors, didn't rescind those rights for those same individuals. So we don't have that power. I know you may think we do, but one of the things we've got going for us, we've settled our last lawsuit before the town. We're almost lawsuit-free. We don't want to buy another lawsuit. And the people who have been appointed, who may have done something that we don't appreciate but are reputable citizens of the community, we can't just dismiss them, especially when the SMAC board has not taken that very same action.
Well, that same board will never take actions, because they're all glued together as one.
I understand.
Point
I'm
of
telling
order.
you what our handcuffs are, what our limitations are.
Okay,
So-
point of order.
Yeah, I
Vice Chair
apologize.
Cavey.
I don't want to, I understand this is important to you guys, but, you know, we have turned item 11 into a public hearing, and this is not what this is about. And we, We haven't even gotten to the consent agenda yet, and we've been here for an hour. We can't do this. You know, this is a public meeting. The public is certainly welcome to observe the meeting. It's not a public hearing, though,
Yeah,
and
I
you don't have a
realize
right to participate in our deliberations.
It's a little different when we consider ourselves the
Sir,
victims
sir,
here.
sir.
I'm sorry, we're the victims of this.
Wait just a minute, Mr.
And if it takes an hour to
Ventresco.
discuss it, I'm sorry.
Mr.
You can speak
Ventresco,
with
wait just a
the
minute.
board, with the Board of SMAC, with the Attorney General's office. There's a bunch of places you can go.
No,
The
Wait just a minute. So
citizen comment section of a Board of Selectmen meeting.
we're getting ready to go to our next item because we have a lot of business to take care of this evening, and some is time sensitive. Some has been advertised to start at a certain time.
All right.
So Vice Chair Cavey,
Yeah.
I will defer to you. Do you have any further comments?
No, I
on
think
this
we've had
matter?
enough back and forth, and I think it's time to move on to
Okay.
the order of.
well, I want to say a couple more things here.
So
Mr.
we
Cavey
will be
saying-
moving
wait,
forward. Mr. Ventresco.
Let me just finish, please, and you got to have the rest of the night.
But you have, you're saying the same thing over and over.
No,
We
I'm going to
hear you.
say, I'm going a little further. He brought up the state. I talked to every department in the state of Massachusetts to help us. On the voting issue, they have no authority. But if we register a complaint with the state, the treasurer's office, something like there's wrongdoings with books or something like that, then they have the authority to come in. So right now, with this issue, no state agency has the right to come in and do anything. Only you people. You can rescind. I don't care, you say you're going to get lawsuits, get the lawsuits. We just spent I don't know how many thousands of dollars here to come to this conclusion, and it's the wrong conclusion. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you for your comments. Any other citizens' comments? Any online? Any other citizens' comments? Okay, moving right along to our consent agenda. Our consent agenda, so our approval of open meeting minutes, April 11, 2023, and executive session meeting minutes of March 21, 2023. B, which is 5B, a proclamation. How do you pronounce the name? Falun Dafe Association of New England. C is water connection application diesel direct at 74 Maple Street. D is Cedar Hill Golf Course concessionaire's lease. E is purchase and sale agreement, map 103, lot 9, TL Edwards Incorporated. F is application for road race or parade permit, Memorial Day Parade, May 29th, 2023. G is application for road race or parade permit for 4th of July Parade, July 4th. H is application for road race or parade permit, St. John's Philharmonica Society, St. John's Feast Procession on June 25th, 2023. I is application for road race or parade permit, Holy Ghost of Aziris Society, Holy Ghost of Aziris Procession, July 16th, 2023. J is application for a one-day alcoholic beverage license, June 23 of 2023, St. John Philharmonica Society. And K, application for a one-day alcoholic beverage license, July 15th, 2023, St. John's Philharmonica Society. Anyone on the board would like to pull a consent agenda item?
Madam Chair? I'd
Yes,
like to
Vice
pull
Chair
item
Cavey.
B and item E.
B as in boy,
Yeah, Bravo and Echo.
Bravo and Echo, yes. Any other, Mr. Carrara, same,
Steve pulled one that I wanted.
okay. Any others? Okay, let's discuss the proclamation first, 5B. Okay, so then everyone else can go home, is that what you? Okay,
Cross something off the list.
yes.
So it'd be A, C, D, F,
G, H,
G, H, I, J, and K?
yes, that is correct.
Second. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. So anyone that's present for anything except for 5B, the proclamation, and 5E, which is the purchase and sale, those are the only two items on the table. Every other item has been approved, and there's no need to present or discuss with the board. Thank you very much. I see a couple of people leaving now. Great.
Bye, Paul, thanks for stopping by.
Have a good
Be well.
night.
Have fun at the party.
I'll see you guys there, don't forget.
Oh, I'll be there.
Okay.
I'll be there.
You guys are invited to mark the session.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Cavey, you want to start with B?
Yeah, so I don't know much about the organization. I've just done some research on it. I don't, first of all, it would be backdated. This would be I think they were looking for the 13th of May, so 3 days ago, a proclamation of this day. But it appears to be, I mean, I really don't know much about it. It seems like a semi-religious / political organization. I kind of feel like maybe this is not really appropriate for a vote of this board. And personally, if we do vote it, I'm going to vote against it. I just don't think this is appropriate for us to be weighing into.
Okay. I would like to know if Kevin Peng, P-E-N-G, is in the audience. No, he's not. Okay.
Yes, this is Kevin speaking.
Oh, you're on the phone. Okay.
Yes,
Well, hello, how are you?
thank you.
Is
Yes,
it-
how are you? Thank you for inviting me to the.
Is it possible for you to show your face? Not to put you out,
I'm-
but I would,
Sorry about
he's
that.
not, okay. Thank you, you're on the cell phone.
I'm on the phone, sorry.
So
Hello?
can you share a little bit about the organization and,
Yes, sure. So basically, Falun Dafa is a meditation practice that's based on principles of truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance. We're being out there outreaching to all the communities, providing voluntary services, as well as, free instruction of the exercises. So this year in Massachusetts, we have received 10 proclamations or citations for the World Falun Dafa Day celebration in this May. And we were thinking to share this happy moment with the town, so that's why we put out this application. And what we wanted to tell is that we were trying to do all we can as what you've been doing to make the people of the town happy and healthy. Especially want to share a story that we, during the pandemic, we heard many people were in trouble when they got COVID. We also hear a story that many people help themselves recover more quickly by doing the exercises or using the meditation technique. So we were anxious to let more people know about it. We actually, out of our own pocket, print free materials and deliver to the local groceries. And I personally went to Stoughton a few times, so we can share that exciting story to more people. My personal experience with one of my tenants, she got COVID last year, very sick. She didn't expect a quick recovery. I told her, I heard many people trying the technique and recover quickly. Why don't you try it? And then she did meditation and she followed what I said, just the second morning she feel much better, and the third day she recovered from it. So I saw the effectiveness of the meditation exercise. Just hope that more people can, get to learn it. So before the pandemic, we actually went out to local events. In the events, we show the exercises, provide free instruction. We also went to libraries when people invited us to go to show the exercises. So always free of charge. And then during the pandemic, we were not able to do that, so we set up a website. So it's called learnfalungong.com, so people can check, just learn it on their own pace online. And as I said, during the pandemic, we were trying to share the good news and how people can health again through practicing the exercises or follow the technique, including, the community of Stoughton.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ping. Are you located, or are you a resident of the town of Stoughton, or how did you hear about Stoughton? And why did you want to introduce your
as I said,
principles
we,
of yoga practice in the town of Stoughton?
Yes, actually, as I said, we outreached to multiple communities. That's probably why we received 10 proclamations from different towns this year. It's just, what we think, we want to share, because we personally benefit from, the health benefits. And also, the practice was made public in China in 1999. And it grew very quickly, 1990, okay, and it grew very quickly. All the parts, you see people doing it. Unfortunately, the Communist Party couldn't tolerate a group getting popular, so they banned it, and then the people doing it. Practitioners have been persecuted in China since then. In a tightly controlled country like China, you couldn't imagine that, you cannot go to work, you cannot go to school, you cannot check in the hotel because your ID is controlled by the government. However, Chinese people.
Well, thank you, Mr. Ping. We have a bad connection. We're missing basically every other word that you're saying.
I'm sorry.
No,
sorry.
I think it's just the type of equipment we have. But if my fellow board members are in agreement, we could table this discussion, since it's after the date anyway, we could table it and learn more about the organization. How?
Okay,
Because
thank
we-
you.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes.
I'm more confused now than I was when the conversation started. It seems to me that this is a private organization that's looking for us to endorse what they're doing. It's not a Stoughton-based project that I understand, and I don't support this. To me, a proclamation is for us to announce and support activities of Stoughton nonprofits, or congratulate somebody on a milestone in their career, maybe the death of a family member, or so forth. And that those proclamations, to me, are official action of this board. I don't believe that this board, should be endorsing out-of-town events or events that we know nothing about. And I would not be inclined to make a motion to approve it, or that we would even consider it. If you want to, as the chair in your role, to vet that, if you feel, but I wouldn't vote for anything that is not Stoughton-based and is helping the residents of Stoughton. I heard Mr. Gito mention that there's a Boston address associated with this. That has no place here. If this was, a national organization, National Safety Council, Red Cross, Heart Association, cancer awareness, I can understand that because that's global. But for this, I think this is way overstepping the process of what proclamations are here for, and that's my 2 cents. I won't be voting for it, nor will I support a re-application for it.
Any other comments? We can, Mr. Carrero, we can take a vote on it, too. I just really couldn't hear what he was saying.
I heard enough of what he was saying. And this opens the door to not just good things, but bad things to follow, too. you say yes to this and give a proclamation, when do the Nazis show up, or white supremacists, or whatever? Just because they heard that we're doing a good thing for our residents with the depot, and it gets on the computer, and people grab this. All these people do is watch for these advantageous places to set up. And I'm not for it. Steve said it from the get-go, and Joe just said it even better. So I'm not going to consider it.
We have to have a positive motion. Motion approved.
You don't have to have a positive motion. No, you don't. Motion to deny. No, I had to explain that to FinCom, too. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Mr. Ping, it was nice meeting you. Sorry we couldn't hear everything that you were saying. I'm all for yoga and exercise, but I really couldn't hear what your organization, the thrust and the principles of your organization. But hopefully, I can meet you one day, and we could talk about it. But the board has decided, voted unanimously, not to move forward with a proclamation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. So that's 7B, the proclamation. Now we're moving on to 5E, the purchase and sale agreement, map 103, lot 9, TL Edwards. I don't see anyone's name associated with that, but maybe I'll look in the package. Yes, we're selling property.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Mr. McCrisky?
Just as a follow-up, this is an issue that was 7 years in the making? More than that. This started in 2015. This property was voted by town meeting as a result of a motion I made on several pieces of property that had been sitting dormant, and we wanted to turn that into tax-producing property. And 2 on Tosca Drive, I believe, I forget which one there was 3 others, and this one. This property, if you're driving towards the Avon line on Page Street, after you go by under Route 24, all the property on the right, the entire treed property, wooded area, up until you hit the Dunkin' Donuts in Avon, right at the Avon line, all of that property is currently owned by Mr. Edwards, except for this little cap sitting in the middle of my desk, is which the town of Stoughton owns. We don't even have right of access to our land because he owns everything. If there was a paper street on it or something like that that we controlled, it would be different. But then again, even the paper street regulations say if you own the property that abuts a paper street on one side or the other, that person has a right to the center line. We don't even have that. That property is useless. We can't get access to it, but what it will do is, this is what I said to town meeting in 2015, is that allows the property to be developed, and most of that land, except for I believe 100 feet, is in Stoughton. So that could be another $1 million or $2 million building, bringing revenue into this town. And depending on what the use could be, could be personal property taxes and so forth. And it abuts the Avon line. It's on the other side of 24. It doesn't impact our neighborhoods. It doesn't impact our schools. It's not going to be residential. It's not zoned that way. So it seemed then, and more so, I can't believe that it's taken from start of 2015 to 2023 to get it to this point. And I personally don't see the downside to saying that we'll have property that puts up a building and generates tax revenue. With everything that we have on our plate for needing revenue, it'll be a good thing. So that's my knowledge of it. I've supported it. I felt that, I would speak up for it again. because it makes sense for the town of Stoughton, and anything that we can do to bring tax revenue into this town, I believe that's our job, especially with the revenue situation it is, the economy, everything else, more so now than in 2015. I just can't still believe it.
Who withdrew, who pulled it out?
I did.
No one did.
No, yes, they did.
Oh, they did not.
Wait.
Nobody pulled out Mr. Gito.
Sorry,
This-
Wait just a
Mr.
minute,
Mr. McCrisky,
one at a
he means who pulled it from the consent agenda, and that was me.
Oh, okay, I apologize,
so,
Mr. Gito, if that's what you were referring to.
Of course.
Yeah.
I
That's what I was
apologize. I
referring to.
apologize, I'm wrong and I'm
So
sorry.
I was hoping
I
that we could
also
hear
had-
why it was pulled out.
Okay.
I pulled it out too, but Steve got to it before me.
Yeah, sorry. I'll just be really
Vice Chair
quick.
Pavey and then Mr. Carrara.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be very quick. I actually just didn't know the history of this, and was basically just looking for the summary you just provided, and I'm satisfied. I just wanted to know what was going. I couldn't figure out what was going on here.
Right, okay.
But now I do, and I'm supportive of it. Thank you.
We had discussed this last fall or winter.
No, we didn't. It was discussed illegally because it was already voted and people brought it up to hang over somebody's head.
Okay.
So
But it was
discussed
here.
illegally, but it was discussed, right. I agree.
Mr. Carrara.
I was more than half right.
Mr. Carrara.
I would have liked to have had the map in with the purchase and sales, so we knew what we were looking at. Didn't we
It's
also?
here.
Isn't that, it's not in my packet.
It's not in the, it was electronic,
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
but not on the hard
But
copy. Is
can I
that
ask a
correct,
question
Mr.
too?
Nelson?
Didn't we give away a paper street also?
No, that's a county layout, and that's not our road. So the county layout goes nowhere. It dead ends at Route 24, picks up on the other side of 24.
No,
So-
I'm talking on,
Oh, you're thinking the other end of Page Street, that dead end towards 24, where,
there was a thing on town meeting
That's
to give
correct.
that property. This is what's confusing me.
no, that was the county layout. That was the county layout. Town meeting voted the county layout to be requested to be pulled. And that is going to be pulled, but it only can be pulled once the land leaves the town of Stoughton's possession. Right, and that comes right from Norfolk County.
Thank you for that clarification. Please clarify this. I was informed that a citizen cannot purchase land, maybe I'm saying it incorrectly. The only way they can purchase land is if they have an auction. So we have to, I was always told that we have to wait until the town has an auction and then someone,
That is true unless the property's worth less than $35,000, which this is under the procurement rules, under $35,000. And I believe, I don't think it's, what was the purchase that was offered, 20,000?
25.
25,000? So it's 10,000 under that. So that gives this board the power to just accept the purchase and sales and to release the land.
Madam Chair, perhaps I could bring
Yes.
some light on this.
Yes,
When this
please,
came to
Mr.
my desk by the procurement officer, I checked with Attorney Winter. He confirmed for us that town meeting did vote the sale of the property several years ago. He confirmed that the procurement law allows for this transaction if it's under $35,000. The taxable value is $22,000. Mr. Edwards offered $25,000. It does not require a public bid because it's under $35,000, and the P&S is in proper form, according to Mr. Winter, because he wrote it up. So everything checks all the boxes, and I do agree with Mr. McCristy. I researched this with Norfolk County. There is not a paper road, there's a piece of land that Norfolk County owns that they want to dispense of. They can't dispense of it until this piece of parcel is sold. So this has to come first, and then that comes second. And apparently Norfolk County has agreed to dispose of that property, which gives the landowner on both sides, Mr. Edwards, the entire property. He would then own it all, and then it's very developable. Right now, in its current form, with that soda cap in the middle of it, it really limits what development could be, what industrial development could be done there. So it does check out with Mr. Winter, and it does check out with respect to the procurement law with our procurement department.
All right. Are there any other questions in regard to item?
Motion to approve.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well, unanimous. Thank you. Moving right along to item number 6, interdepartmental transfer. If we can do that quickly? Oh, yes.
Very quickly, Madam Chair, as you know, one of our goals in this budget is professional development. This is a professional development training program, one of the most superior ones for human resource professionals. One comment I want to make in the interest of time is these two employees, who are the two employees at our HR department, could have asked to go away for this trip. They're not. They're doing it all online on their time instead of going away and traveling, because we can't afford to have them both leave at the same time. So I'd strongly recommend the approval of this transfer. You can see where the sources are that are contributing to it, and it's going to the human resource for the training of these two individuals.
Or any discussion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. McCrisky? Aye. Unanimous decision. I voted aye as well.
Thank you, members.
And I'm glad that this is happening. I think that's part of what you have been charged to do, as a
Yes,
matter of
sir.
fact.
Thank you.
Okay. Still have a few minutes. Old Colony Elder Services Board of Directors nomination. Ms. Bruce, hi, nice seeing you again.
Nice to be here. Janice Bruce, Director of Human Services. So this item comes up every year. Old Colony Elder Services in Brockton looks for somebody from Stoughton to sit on their board of directors. For 3 or 4 years, it's been Robin Cardoza. She is ready to let somebody else have the experience to be a representative from Stoughton. I talked to Robin, and we were both actually thinking of the same person. Her name is Ellen Lash. So they look for the board of, the select board to make the nomination for a Stoughton representative to sit on the Old Colony Elder Services Board, where they cover many towns, one being Stoughton, and they talk about a lot of policies, and they, it's great for us to have representation on the board. We have so many seniors in town, and Ellen has got a vast experience. She was one of our Shine counselors for years, which was a volunteer position. She sits on the board at the COA, and her background was in medical billing, and she's very organized, and she's just a great person, very organized and enthusiastic, so I think she'd be a great representative.
Well, thank you so much for your recommendation. Is Ms. Ellen Lash? Lash, is she in the audience or on the line?
She's not.
Not that she has to be out.
Approve Ellen
Okay.
Lash
All in
as
favor?
the,
No.
What's that?
He made a motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
vote aye as
Thank
well.
you.
Congratulations. That's wonderful. Moving right along to item number 8, grant of easement, Massachusetts Electric Company, 400 Prospect Street. Mr. Calder.
Madam Chair, briefly, this is simply an easement we're issuing to National Grid for the placement of their transformer to service the new fire station.
The item what?
For the new fire station easement.
It's item,
Did you-
which one? I have public hearing.
Item number 10,
Item 10?
it's Mass Electric.
Thank you.
National Grid, Mass Electric, same company. Sorry about that.
Aye.
It's item 8, right?
I'm sorry?
Item,
It's item 8, grant of easement, Mass Electric Company.
Mine says item 10.
Oh.
Oh.
I think that might not be
oh,
the-
that's the,
Might not be the
That
right
was
order.
why I was asking. I mean,
yeah, because.
we have a a public hearing scheduled sometime,
At 8:25,
and that's it.
and that's 1 minute.
An easement for power?
I don't think it's required to be.
We give hearings on poles to be moved. What's the difference with putting a full transformer in the
No, it's not about
No,
the
it's not for them, it's
transformer.
for us. Like,
It's
we,
the granting of the easement. We're issuing the easement.
Yeah, I know. We do the same thing with Verizon poles. We grant an easement.
Would you use the mic, please?
What,
I'm discussing something.
The question is whether this required a public hearing.
excuse me, I'm going to lean on your chair.
Sure.
Yeah, the agenda says 8. This is labeled 10.
yeah, the backup's labeled 10, but on the agenda it's 8, but it's all there.
Can I go on?
So for the audience's sake, the agenda has item 8 as grant of easement, but the packet has item 8 as continuation of the public hearing, Class 2 license application. So,
And the question, Madam Chair, is whether it required a public hearing. And if you'd like to go on to the next agenda item, I can call council right now and get the answer to that question.
thank you very much.
Would you like me to do that?
Perfect, yeah.
Excellent.
Just cross that off the list.
Okay, moving right along to our item number, well, continuation of public hearings, so now that our numbering is out of sorts. First is the Class 2 license application. Naomi L. Nimmer, doing business as Element Financial, and Vice Chair Cavey.
Thanks. Give me 1 second while I just pull that all up.
Thank you.
So this was a continuation of the public hearing at our
about that.
last hearing, as I recall. There was a question about whether or not there were going to be two Class 2 licenses on that property because the previous owner still had an outstanding one. As I understand it, the previous owner has delinquished his Class 2 license to that property, and so there's no longer any Class 2 license associated with that property. And all the other information that we had at our previous meeting is still all true. And so I think we're ready for a vote, but I certainly want to hear if anybody has any further questions.
Yes, to put this in context, this operation, or the location, the business at this location was previously known as what?
As Billy Auto.
Billy's Auto Sale.
Yeah, Billy Auto Sale.
As Billy? We just went,
In December, we gave a Class 2 license to Billy's.
Thank you.
That was right beside the property that the town...
the mic, please?
In December, we gave a Class 2 license to Billy's, which is the property right beside the property that the town owns, almost across from Huggard and Ewing. And so we had spent a lot of time dealing with how many cars there would be there, how many parking spaces there would be for people coming in, looking at cars, and had agreed on a certain arrangement. My suggestion is that we not have to do an awful lot of that, aside from just saying we'll continue that, so we don't have to get into a long discussion about it. But, I mean, it's just another business. It was like the old business, seems to me.
Madam Chair,
I
may I
think
give
the
some
question
history on
was-
this?
Joe,
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's a lot going on.
Selectman would like to speak.
No, I'll refer to the town manager, because
Yeah.
if he's got the same information, because
So did Billy's relinquish their license?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Please, Mr. Coulter, that's the,
Yes. They came in and they relinquished their permit.
Is it
It's
just,
in your package.
okay.
This issue was very involved last week, took up a lot of our time. There was an issue as to whether Billy's would relinquish. The clerk made it very simple. If he relinquishes, your application is complete. If he doesn't relinquish, we're not going to consider your application. He finally, at the 11th hour, relinquished his permit. The application before you is complete, and the document showing he relinquished his permit is in your packet.
Okay, good.
and Mr. Carrara?
And the clerk did a wonderful job.
and,
Great.
and what I told you was happening, that there was going to be 2 licenses at that place. You were right. And
You
I
were so
told you
very
what was
right.
going to go on.
That was my concern as well. Spot on.
You weren't here, so I was.
I remember when, I was here when we talked about that. I
Right.
knew the license was there, and my understanding was that, just that license was going to be relinquished. So it's obvious, for a long time, they've been selling cars on a license that wasn't in their name. That's what it was. So now they're getting the license in their
Plus-
name. So that's
plus-
good, I'm all set.
If this operation was going to sell cars there, it gave them 2 whacks at the auctions,
Yeah.
because you walk through the door with 2 Class 2 licenses.
So that's good, it's been resolved, that's all I care about.
The
Thank
only,
you,
the only
good luck, I'm
question,
voting for it.
the only other question I have is, are we going to make them follow the parking and the selling of the cars? Remember, Joe, when we said,
Yep.
you know, there's no way you can have them down the middle and
And that
stuff like
was, if I'm
that?
not mistaken, Lou, you may have a better memory than me, I think that was rubber stamped by the landlord.
It's continued, so yeah, it never closed.
We're handling it, don't worry about it. It's when we go to close
Mr.
it.
Gito, do you recall that? When we recognized the license back then, that the landlord rubber stamped that parking plan and said it would be enforced as well? Okay. So it wasn't Nicole here during that hearing, and she said that she would enforce that parking?
I just want to make sure that it doesn't
agree.
turn into a stack, and there's going to be things out front, and, oh, we didn't know, and it turns out to like the bonded Dodge situation.
Right. No, I agree. And I think that's in place there.
Please use the mic.
Not here, I don't have it unless somebody else
So-
does.
Well, that's what I was asking, if we, if
So
they-
Gilda,
that
you
plan
were
has to
gonna
be
add
entered
something?
in.
Madam Chair,
Oh,
in the
yes.
packet, you have included Billy's license and the parking plan attachment to
Is
his
it?
license.
Okay, I didn't
so
see
you
it.
can
Let
see
me
it
go scroll through it
towards the
fast.
end of the packet.
Thank you. Thank you, Gilda.
So very organized, thank you. Yes, she
If
is.
the
The best.
I want it to reflect that that parking plan now becomes their parking plan,
Right.
not Billy's.
full, if I can, Madam Chair?
Yes, Mr. McCrisky.
As the petitioners, have you been made aware of the parking requirements at that location?
How many car parking?
Yeah, how many cars, where, and the location and everything? Our assistant is going to give you a copy of that map.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
These are
have you
customer
seen that?
parkings. These 5 are customer parkings, and then you have those.
So how many we have? 10? 10 cars?
I didn't count.
Right, that's the one, yes, right. Thank you, Lou.
12, 13, 14 cars. 15, 16, 17.
Scott, did you see that?
17 cars?
No, that's the one.
That's the one, right. Do you, Madam Chair, if I may continue?
Yes, Mr.
Thank you.
McCrisky, we were just showing the parking plan,
Right.
make sure everybody's on the same page.
Now, I would want you to have time, if you want to review it, we can table this. You can come back at our next meeting if you want time to look at it. What I don't want to do is force you into saying, I agree to something that you haven't had the time to review and understand. Okay, but that's the parking plan, because we need to bring some order to the way cars are sold. Minimum amounts, people is, stacking them, they're basically building ramps to get them over the tops, and, we don't mind somebody doing business, we want everybody to succeed. But again, if you would rather wait and be able to come back, because if you make that commitment to support it, that's going to be attached to your license.
So how many numbers on the license?
Yeah, how many cars?
How many, I don't have it up, how many are allowed on the site total? Because we kept that number as well.
Customer parking.
Yeah, 3 customer parking. This was,
Why don't,
Looks like 22 cars and 3 customer, it looks like 3 customer spots and 22
Yeah.
vehicle.
it's, Mr. Cabey again?
So-
22 cars for sale?
22 cars for sale and 3 customer spots.
That's fine.
Yeah.
when we give out
You okay?
these licenses, don't we have the parameters?
We usually do that, I know, but this one seems to be a little different because it was a swap of a license. They just didn't get the parking plan as part of it.
No, I'm not talking about here. I'm talking about when we granted it to Billy. Didn't we?
Yes.
Isn't all of that detail there?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Through you, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Because all that detail is there, we insisted upon them adopting the parameters of Billy's license.
Okay.
Which everything, operating hours, parking spaces, everything is the same.
Okay. So they know that then, or?
They do know that. However, Madam Chair, at the right time, I do have a question that may determine whether they're eligible or not.
Yes, please proceed, Mr. Coulter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There was the issue of ownership. Who is the owner of the business? And who are the employees in the business?
It's just me.
So you're not being employed at all.
No, I'm just helping her. She's my wife.
That's very important, members, and the reason why their application does not have a workers' compensation certificate, and it's not required to have a certificate as long as the owner is the only employee.
Right.
There were questions as to whether her husband was going to work there or not. It was back and forth. So we want to make it clear, if you have any employees, you will be called on by the Department of Revenue in Massachusetts looking for your insurance certificate for workers' compensation. If somebody is working there that's a non-owner, you will be subject to significant liability.
Right,
Okay?
understand.
You're talking about the owner of the business, is that correct? Not the owner of the property? Thank you.
Vice Chair Cavey.
Yeah, I apologize. I just wanted to correct myself. I missed some of the writing here, but it looks like you actually have 8 customer spots and 17 spots for cars that you're selling. There's 5 customer spots along the side and then 3 in the front. I'm guessing those are probably handicap accessible. And so the remaining spots are total of 17, it looks like. 8 customer and 17 for sale.
You do have the map in front of you, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And so do you feel comfortable with that arrangement, 17 cars?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I got to say that just following the conversation a minute ago, you're the owner, we really shouldn't even be talking to him.
I'm her husband.
I understand, but you're a part of the application process right now, and that shouldn't be. So I would rather you make the commitments, because that shows me it's your business. I understand you're a husband, you don't want to see her make a mistake or do, get in a tough spot, but we're issuing a license to her based on her commitments, okay? So I just want to get that up front, okay?
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we've already had the public hearing. If are there any members of the public who want to comment on this? I'll probably just give you one last chance. Seeing none.
Motion to close the hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Vice Chair Cavey.
Motion to approve this Class 2 license for, sorry, I forgot.
Naomi,
What was the business name?
Element Financial.
Yeah, Element for Naomi Elmer, doing business as Element Financial, 1254 Washington Street.
Second.
All in favor?
With all the conditions,
All the caveats.
former license to Billy's.
Right, that they operated. And I think, Mr. Friendly Amendment, to say that they previously operated under, so that all the terms of that come over to this one?
Whatever,
Okay.
however you want to, I just want to get that in there, that's
Right,
all.
I agree.
Okay, I'll accept the amendment.
What's that?
I accept the amendment.
Oh,
Just
okay.
just
All right,
that,
cool. All right.
that the conditions of this license are also transferred from the previous business into yours, regarding parking and the number of cars you can have in that lot.
All right.
No more than 17 cars as stated.
Yep, no
Right.
more than 17.
The same
And-
map, Scott, that we approved before.
I want it out there.
Yep, that's why I said to Lou for the friendly amendment for everything that they operated under prior to tonight.
Right.
So this way here, it's
Copy,
rock
paste.
solid. And it's in the minutes of the meeting, it's on the video, everything, so, great.
There's also another business there that they, sorry. There's also another business there that they're parking a lot of cars there. So that's making us have less parking space.
Well, that's up to you and your landlord,
Oh, okay.
okay? Because that's what we're going to enforce, okay? So if you don't have parking for that, that's between you and your landlord.
Oh,
We can't
okay.
get involved with that.
Okay.
I wonder what that business is. Could you elaborate on, is that a car sale business too?
No,
or
it's a detailing,
a detailing?
yeah.
Do you know, Madam Chair?
Yes,
Do you know the name of that company? We want to check a business certificate.
Extreme,
That'd be two buildings.
extreme.
Okay, thank you.
That detailing operation's been there for a while. It was there when Billy was there.
Okay, so they
I've
just
seen
park.
that. So, I'm just saying, there is like a little of a shed without a garage being called, with sides that fold down, that type of stuff for detailing. And it had been there, I believe that Billy employed them at one time doing cars, but that's been there for a while. But again, all the thing is, the traffic plan that we have just said, and you've agreed to, if the vote goes, if that's going to change, that's going to stop this vote. So anything that's happening for those parking spaces,
Yeah.
that's got to be between you and your landlord.
Okay.
Okay? So, because if you don't have enough room, and she's
Right.
taking those because she owns the land, that's going to be between the two of you. Because
Okay.
we're going to come down, and if there's too many cars on there,
Yep.
zoning enforcement's going to come down, and they're going to hold you accountable and say, you got too many cars in here.
Right.
Okay, so that's your business, that the license that you're getting. We can't get involved between you and your landlord.
Okay.
And Mr. McChristie, you'll be happy to know we very soon will have a zoning enforcement officer on board.
That's great news.
That's great news.
That's
Mrs.
spectacular news.
El Nima, you wanted to make a comment about something in reference to something that was said earlier, or are you all set?
No, it was about there is a garage there.
Okay,
There is now, so,
that's where they do the detailing.
yeah.
All right, so motion, it has been seconded, so on the motion.
Aye.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Best of luck.
Have a wonderful night.
You too.
You too. So you'll be in contact with Ms. Gilda going forward for the license. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Moving right along to our next, I'm sorry, Vice Chair Cavey, public hearing
Yeah,
beer
thank you,
and
Madam
wine
Chair.
license.
This is also a continuation of a public hearing that we started the other night. It's for a beer and wine license application for Ori Restaurant 2 LLC at 434 Pearl Street.
Good evening.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. My name is Ornella Mujo, and I'm the owner of the restaurant, Ori Restaurant.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
Vice
meeting all
Chair
of you
Cavey.
tonight.
Thank you very much. So each of our departments has weighed in. Fire had no objection, police had no objection. Board of Health has no objection with the beer and wine license for this establishment. They are currently licensed with the Board of Health and in good standing. Building and zoning had no issues. And looks like you've passed your annual inspection. Treasurer's office had no objections, and Water Department had no objections as well. The application is in order, and I appreciate you coming down to speak to us. Could you maybe just give us a little bit of information about what you're looking to do with the beer and wine license?
Well, we only operate Saturday and Sunday, and it's brunch. So during brunch, people enjoy beverages, alcoholic beverages, and it attracts more people onto our business. And we have noticed lately that we have customers from all over Massachusetts, which is a good attraction. So they look around the area, see what the town of Stoughton can offer. We hire a lot of high school kids and for summer jobs and things like that. So we hope that it will bring not only more business, but more people from around towns to come and visit us.
Perfect. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes.
Not a question, a comment. I've been here a long time. Scott's been here, Lou's been here. I just think I have to say it. There's certain applications when they're made, you just remember them. And you remember when you heard how the name was picked. And Ore, a love story. I gotta say, this is one, just meeting the petitioner again, I just said, it's just one of those things you have to repeat and say that what a beautiful story it is for this petitioner and the business that's being run. I haven't been there as often as I should be, but I just wish you all the luck again.
Thank you.
I know the problem you had with the liquor license that happened before. I'm glad it's solved for you, and I hope you get to a point where it's not just the weekends.
I hope so,
Because dinners
too.
were beautiful as well.
Oh, thank you.
And it is a very unique dining experience, I can say that, so good luck. I'm glad that
Thank
you're.
you. I appreciate all the kind words.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Cavey.
I just wanted to add one more thing, that Gilda has been wonderful throughout the whole process, and I'm very thankful that she is taking the job because it's a very tough job. It's a lot of work. I want her.
No, she is fabulous. I'm glad you've had a good experience. Does anybody in the public have any comments that they'd like to make? Any concerns?
Motion
Okay.
to close, Steve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Congratulations, and I too
Thank you very
attend your
much. I appreciate all your time.
restaurant.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
I'll keep
Okay.
making good food.
No, it's good food.
Have a great night.
Same to you. Moving right along to our next item, application of change of manager. The Cirrus Restaurant doing business as Chateau Restaurant of Stoughton. Vice Chair Cavey.
Thank you. Let me just get to that. Apologies. I think I've got to do what Mr. Carrera does and just print these things out.
How about this?
Just scanning through. No, I'm almost there. I'm almost there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so thank you very much. This doesn't require a public hearing, but let's see, the fire had no objections. Please review the application, complete background checks on the proposed manager. No concerns or disqualifying information was located. Board of Health has no objections. Okay, and then they just include some variance information. Building zoning, no issues. Treasurer's office, no issues. And Water Department had no objections. Is, is Joseph Cavallari here? Oh,
Cavalieri, yes,
there you
I'm
are.
Mr. Cavalieri.
Well, thanks for joining us for
Of course.
tonight.
Thank you.
It looks like everything's in order. You just want to speak to your experience coming to working at the Chateau, moving into this position.
Yeah, it's been great. I've been at this location for 2 years. I was previously employed at the Chateau in Braintree. Everyone in the town's been great. I've had no issues with any customers or staff. I've wonderful working with all the people in the town. So I've enjoyed my time here so far and continue to do so.
Thank you very much. I'm very much a regular of it.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I've recognized you from coming in.
Yeah, and congratulations on this role, and I just look forward to many more years of wonderful service.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions?
Mr. McCrisky.
Thank you. Not a question, but I guess a comment, and now you can take it from here to your boss. You took grape nut pudding off the menu. okay?
You know,
That
it's
is
funny,
like,
the grape nut pudding was gone before I started
well,
at
you could,
Braintree.
you could take that back to Joe.
I will let
One
Joe know.
unhappy customer.
Yes.
That if you've ever had it and you go back to the Alberts days, it was like from Alberts. And, best meatballs in town, But,
Thank you.
Yeah, see if we can get that back on the menu.
I'll see what I can do. I'll mention it to Joe next time I
Good
see
luck in
him.
the new position.
Thank you.
So,
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
And I vote aye as well. Congratulations.
Thank you very much for your
Sounds like
time.
the meatballs
Appreciate
are
it.
great.
Best of luck.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a nice
Thanks
night.
for waiting.
Meatball and ricotta pizza, if you haven't done it. Meatballs and ricotta pizza. Highly recommend.
I like tripe.
I believe we've covered everything on our agenda for tonight, except the board will be entering into executive.
No.
Oh, yes.
Answer from counsel.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Don't ask me to explain it, but I'll give you what he said verbatim. He was at a meeting in Avon, took my call, which we're grateful for. This does not require a public hearing. Reason is, town meeting granted an easement, so we're just moving the easement as opposed to granting an easement. Any questions that my friend Scott has on that beyond that, I'm going to refer him to Brian Winter, but he said we did not need a public hearing. And he had reviewed this beforehand, so he was ready for the question.
And the item in question was on the consent.
That's item 8,
Oh, number
granting
8.
easement.
I'm sorry. Sorry, it was
We're
number,
on
I won't
page
give it a number anymore
230.
since the numbering is off. Grant of easement, Massachusetts Electric Company, 400 Prospect Street. Are there any other questions, or are we ready to take?
Madam Chair, I make
Oh,
a,
yes.
unless somebody has a question, I'm just going to make a motion to approve.
I was going to do the same thing.
Okay.
So you want to make the motion? I'll second it.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Carrara? Aye. And I vote aye as well, unanimous
I'll get a written
decision.
explanation.
Okay,
Okay, now we get to head into executive session.
okay.
Madam
Okay,
Chair?
moving right along. The board will be entering into executive session to discuss the, just a minute. Pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the, wait just a minute, let me see if I can turn the page, on the litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares. Yes. I make the finding that discussing this item in open session may be detrimental to the town's negotiation or litigation position. Therefore, we will be discussing it in executive session. We will not be returning to open meeting, but will adjourn from executive session.
Motion to enter executive session.
Second.
And we have to take a roll call vote. Mr. Gito?
Yes.
Mr. McCrisky?
Yes.
Vice Chair Cavey?
Yes.
Mr. Carrara?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Good night, everyone, and see you next time. Thank you.